green power. Wow.
Tour, we'd rotate all around the coach, but on a tour that has so few days actually on the road, because we've already had 2 nights in Dublin, there's no point in rotating, because it'll mean half the people will only be moving down the back of the coach the whole time. And at each location then I will give you the time and the place when you have to be back. Now, as we get out through this traffic, and then hopefully we'll get a good run across the country, we can be nice and nosy, because if you look at the registration plates on all the vehicles, so the truck in front of it, when the treaty was signed, I'll be telling you all about Irish history. I just want to tell you a little bit about the kind of geography at the moment. And the Celts were a wonderful spiritual people, and they worshipped nature, and so they worshipped the sun, they worshipped the changes of the seasons, they worshipped the water, they were all the things that kept them alive. And then they had sacred objects. For them the oak tree was sacred, and so when these Christians like St. Patrick and St. Bridget were trying to teach the Celts about Christianity, they borrowed a lot of the symbols of the Celtic, what we would have called a pagan religion. So paganism is a type of spirituality where you worship nature, and so paganism, and the Celts were pagans. So they, for example, the Celts would have worshipped the sun, as I said. So the Celtic cross that you'll see in a lot of graveyards, instead of having a gravestone, people will have a Celtic cross where you'll have a crucifix, and then you'll have a circle around the crucifix, and that's the sun that the Celts would have worshipped. So it was kind of like to make it easier for them. St. Bridget then, when she was converting the people in Kildare, she knew that they believed that the oak tree was sacred, and so she called her first church Kildara, which is in the Irish language translated to English as the Church of the Oak. And then, so Kildara is spelled C-I-L-L, meaning church, and Dara or Doira, D-O-I-R-E. And then when Ireland was still under control by the English Crown, especially when you were getting into the 1700s, 1800s, it was a time when we had what was called the penal laws. So the Irish were forbidden from speaking Irish, they were forbidden from practicing the Catholic religion, they were forbidden from proper land rights, obviously voting, and basically they were second-class citizens. And so the English Crown, and especially the army, they wanted to map the country so they could better control, build military roads, and also better control where rebels would hide out. And so what they did was they sent topographers and cartographers over to Ireland with the idea of mapping the country, and also changing the place names from the Irish language into the English language.
We're on our way to Galway. We left Dublin about an hour and 40 minutes ago, and we have about half hour to go yet. We stopped for a potty break at a rest stop along the highway here, and didn't have much time to look around, but they have Krispy Kreme here, which I love. Krispy Kreme, all those good sugars and fats and stuff that make you feel good. The plain old original glazed Krispy Kreme was €2.65 each, which makes them about $3 a piece. So guess what? I passed. And the fancy ones, they were 350 €. So I guess inflation is really, really taking over here in Ireland.
There's 3 of us on the boat, so I kind of did it on my own.
Yeah, it's like a park, and it's just there that Norman is going to lead us off. Ayr Square was then renamed JFK, after President John F. Kennedy, when he visited Ireland a year before his assassination. All his people, of course, were from County Wexford in the southeast of Ireland. But Ayr Square, Norman will take us to Ayr Square, and then I'll walk you down to the top of the main street.
So that was where Kennedy
and then you just walk straight down, and then it kind of veers slightly to the left, and then it goes straight down onto the river. And as you walk down the street, you'll see a bank, which is in a castle. It's very unusual to see a bank in a castle, and AIB Bank, and it's a tower house. It's a tower house dating back to the early 1500s, and that is Lynch Castle. That is where the Lynch family lived. Okay, so it's just gone 11. So 12:30.
So now I know
Seafood diet day.
We walked in down there, so we walked across there.
Okay, this is where Norman is going to pick us up, somewhere along here. Ayr Square. Okay? Ayr Square.
I think I'll just take an umbrella.
Before you get up.
So what are we heading to?
Down,
Just down the street
down the street.
in Galway.
McDonald's.
Yep.
Please, can you help me, please?
Let's walk like to the end and then turn around and walk back
Yep.
to McDonald's and get a hamburger.
Yeah. I hear a busker.
And what's one is one, and what's lost is lost and gone forever. I can only pray for a bright and new day into the town I love so well.
Danışmandan her gün arayacağım.
There's no it isn't hard to nothing to kill or die for, and no religion to.
Beautiful wool sweater.
Do you like this, Brian? Or no? Would you like it? She said she was only certain ones.
Times Mary's back. There came an old sea captain, and he stood at my head. saying arise, arise, young Welshman, and come now.
Come to Ireland without going to the famous Mickey D's.
Playground. This is part of the Air Center, which is also called the Kennedy Center. It was renamed Kennedy Center because John F. Kennedy actually came here and visited, and he was the first president ever to visit Ireland. Of course, he was an Irishman.
Yep.
But it's unique design, totally different than anything we see in the United States. I think
Yeah.
this is probably one of my favorite statues of all time, and I never can remember his name. And I even got hit by rain, or pigeon pooped on me.
No, it's rain.
Rain?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'll have to look it up again. I really don't. I think it's really a
At least he's still here. Yeah. Our bus.
Now into the Galway countryside, and we go through some lovely little villages, and we go through the little village of Kinvara, where we'll see another tower house, Dunguira Castle, which is like a mini version of the one that most of us are going to tonight, and then we'll head for the border, crossing County Galway into beautiful County Clare and into Onwirron, the stony rocky place. All compressed over time, that's limestone. So that was originally the seabed. And so geologists, this is a geologist's paradise. They come from all over the world to study the rocks in the Burren, because it's what's called a karst landscape. The only similar one in Europe is in Slovenia. So if you examine some of the rocks up close, like the geologists will be able to identify all the fish fossils. And then underneath these hills is a hive of activity. You've loads of underground rivers, underground waterfalls, stalagmites, stalactites. And then we have this phenomenon here called the Turlocks, the magic lakes. When we were kids, we used to think it was the fairies that did it, because you'd be driving along here after heavy rainfall, and some of these green fields would be a lake, and then a month later you drive past and it's a field with cows in it, because the water's disappeared all underground. So all over the Burren you get the Turlocks. We're everywhere. They would have been the main Irish landowners here. In the far distance, if you look out, there's a little headland, and you can see a little circular stone tower. Yeah, you see it? And it's kind of at kind of 2 o'clock, and that's what we call a Martello Tower, after a similar design of tower in Italy. And when Ireland was still controlled by England, when the English were at war with the French, they were worried that Napoleon was going to try and invade England through Ireland. So they built all these Martello towers all over the coast of Ireland. How's the temperature? Are you okay? Yes. Cold? Not real cold. Do you want it a little bit warmer?
From the fishing boats that mingle to the shores of Dungaree, I miss the river shadow.
So we're headed up Corkscrew Hill. When we get to the top, we're going to take some pictures.
We're after doing a good bit of
Galway
shearing
Bay.
there of the borders here that you can see of plants and trees, and sometimes it's walls. We call them, the ones without the walls are called hedgerows. So it's woohoo! So the hedgerows will grow right out over the road, so the local council have to come out then and cut them. So I'd say they were out cutting. Now hang on to your stomach here. Whee! Oh look, let's get to the top while the sun is out. Quick!
Switchback.
Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in.
Lots of switchbacks. Beautiful sight. That's Galway Bay, probably 30 miles across, I'd say, right here. Just guessing. Say hi.
Hi.
School, not this yet. Just keep aiming at the window because it just comes up in a flash. Just come up here. Warming up slow. There they are. There's the musicians playing the Irish drum, the bodhrán. Some matches are made in heaven, but the best ones are made in Lishtun. And there's Willie Daly, the matchmaker. He's after making a fortune out of it. This hotel here on the left is housing Ukrainian refugees. So before he died, he knew that people would be very happy probably dancing on his grave.
Where are we?
Cliffs of Moher.
It's not going to video very well because it's into the sun. Yeah. Isn't that something? So, the castle up on me. That's where the pervert lived, huh? That's a long ways down. The Cliffs of Moher. Is that what you, oh yeah. You really can't see it on this video, but
You see all the
there's
white caps?
one of the most popular beaches in Europe over there. People come from all over Europe to this beach
To surf.
to surf and just to hang out. Looking into the sun again, but we may get something here. What would a scenic stop be without the gift store? I can't even imagine how busy this place gets in the summertime. We're here in March and it's cold and the place has tons of people. This is really a unique building. It's carved right into the side of a hill. Everything here is underground. Pretty cool. Oh, look. Look at the giant vegetable. This is a close-up of that spire. Time for a hot chocolate.